Woo. Guys, welcome back to my humble channel. That's what I feel like. I feel like that right now. I feel just really reclused into my mind over this 7-0, a 7-0 crucifixion of Man United. But before I get into more of the content, please hit the like on the premise that the video will be good. And if not, just feel guilty for not donating a free like. Come on, man. As a Man United fan, I just feel so depressed. Man United. Before I get into like just talking about the game, Man United, they shouldn't be capitulating like this. This is what was happening under Ole. If we're gonna like just really look at the facts, I mean, yeah, there was some hangover during this season where we were losing to Brentford like 4-0, losing to Man City 6-3. I mean, I think that's why we got to have some more patience because it's still pretty much Ole's team. I know we got big man Casemiro, Martinez, Varane was obviously a good player, even though he was bought under Ole. He's still a good player. I think there must have been something up with Varane today because the way he turned for that first goal for Gakpo, I mean, he's normally good at recovering, and he turned like a bus and allowed Gakpo to get in that shot with a lot of time. It's crazy, but we still got to look at that. You know, this is a process. The manager's been in for what? How long has it been in? 6 months. We're already overachieving with a Carabao Cup. We've got to reassess or look back at what the objectives were. I thought we were going to finish top 6. I thought that's what it was going to be. We were going to try and just get this football right. We can't do it with just one transfer window. That's why we're still playing counter-attack for a lot of games. That's not Ten Hag's formula. Even though we've seen some iterations of high press and possession, we still don't have the players to do it. We've lost the likes of Eriksen. We've had to loan in Sabitzer. He wasn't even doing well at Bayern Munich. Loan in Weghorst. I mean, come on, we're there with there's got to be some allowance for this kind of stuff. I mean, 7-0 though. There should no way be 7-0 because not even Ole's teams were losing 7. As we've seen the stats, we've not conceded 7 in the Premier League. This is a first record when we were on good form. But even though we rested 6 players for this game, it looks like, you know, that one game every 3 days has caught up to the team because there was hardly any energy in that first half, man. But before I carry on, give some shout outs to people getting in here. I mean, obviously there's going to be people from Liverpool, Bart coming in. I bet you're very happy, aren't you, lad? You're very happy. But I think you made a good point here. United do not have strength and depth throughout their squad, although their first 11 is a match for any team on their given day. Signing 5 players in the summer is a must. Yeah, I got to clear out as well. That's what I was saying. There's still a lot of Ole's players in there, and you know, with the way that Ten Hag has got this team to be great defensively in most of the games. In most of the games this season, we've been good. We've only lost 1 in 12 games now. That's still a great record. And before that, we weren't even losing that much. I think the last loss before this one is the Arsenal game. So it's like 2 losses in maybe 20-odd games, something like that. I mean, we went to Barcelona with our team, with the likes of Fred, Weghorst in midfield, and we've shown what we can do when we're on form. But this one, I just don't know what happened. Dutch Christ, big up, man, for you getting in here. Biggest shit show. I can't even speak, man. My head is gone. Biggest shit show since the shit show X Factor. It was bad today, man. It was hilariously bad. Big up to Matthew Bassett, man. Tell me how you're feeling, man. Are you drowning your sorrows? Are you drowning your sorrows? Because I didn't even have enough drink to drown my sorrows today. I'm actually way too sober, man. I actually need a drink after this, man. Red Devil, thanks for getting in here. Yeah, man, I'll get you one, man. I'll put a link in the chat for anyone that wants to come on. This today has been a sobering exercise, absolute sobering exercise, man. But it should nowhere, it should nowhere near have been the 7. How is it 7? How is it 7? Big up to AD getting in here, man. Bet you're happy, man. Because you know what I mean? Obviously, I was gloating at you when, we were beating Barcelona at home. I know you guys had, what is it, Gavi and Pedri out, but you still have good people like Kessie and De Jong in there. Like, surely, I mean, if we're beating you guys, you have De Jong and Kessie and Busquets, and then we're coming up against Liverpool and we can't handle a burnt-out Henderson. I was on a preview before this game, and one of the Liverpool fans was saying, yeah, Henderson was being considered to be left out as a captain because he's burning out. And he's come in and I think he's got a few assists today. It's been awesome. That boy Elliot as well was looking all right. Fabinho, people are putting respect back on these guys. People are putting respect back on Fabinho, who was looking way older than what the age says on his passport. I don't get what we've done today. It's madness. But looking at the first half, man, I just I'm gonna let some memes talk for me right now. I mean, after that first half, I was like, damn. Even though it was only 1-0, I was thinking, why did we not take the incentive, and actually press these guys in midfield? Because we know that the game is won and lost in the midfield. We didn't control the midfield. We once again went for counter-attack settings, and I think we sat back too much. We got the likes of Casemiro and Fred in there, yeah. They shit on the likes of Fabinho and Harvey Elliott and Henderson. We've seen Fred's added goals to his game. Ten Hag called him the mosquito when he was playing against De Jong in the Barcelona game. Why can't we get in the faces of these guys? We went to the new camp and got a draw, man. The new camp is maybe arguably a bigger, more intimidating atmosphere than Anfield. It's like, what is it, 100,000 capacity there? We went there to Anfield, and I think we sat back too much. We needed to get in their faces, and we've got to give some allowance to Ten Hag. Like I said, man, we're trying to battle with Weghorst up front, man. Like, the guy wasn't good again today, and I'm really shocked that people were even liking what Weghorst was doing against West Ham and trying to be like, we got to sign him up, really, for pressing and passing the ball properly. We need a gunslinger. We need a gunslinger. We've had to rely way too much on the likes of Rashford, man. We can't remember back in the day, obviously, going back to Sir Alex Ferguson's days when we had 4 strikers competing for first team, and we really got Rashford. It's like, one of these losses was coming, but not a 7-0. It's absolutely ridiculous. But big up to Solo. Thanks for getting in here. Big up, Eddie. I didn't see the game today. I was at work. Oh, I wish I was at work. This is the only time when I wish I was at work for a distraction. I watched the whole of that game, and my mind went in and out of consciousness in the second half. It was too bad. But I'm going to bring in Red Devil Studio. Anyone else that wants to get in on here, because I think I need some help anyway. My mind is frazzled. Whoa, RDS, man.
Oh God, I've literally just come back from being cooked on HH. That was like, I thought it was bad when Donson, but man, that channel was
I was actually
brutal,
surprised you
man.
put on Don Smoke, man. Like,
Yeah.
One of the worst fans for Man City to bring on, because he comes with that smoke.
No, I like to because generally speaking, I will, unless it's so bad, but even speak, I try to show my face, because I know a lot of them come out the woodwork when United lose, but when their teams lose, they tend to sort of disappear and stuff like that as well. Just find it which is interesting. So, like when Liverpool lost, for example, against Madrid, I barely saw any Liverpool fans they held 5. I didn't see any Liverpool fans turn up. They disappeared. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So these are the things. So, but anyway,
This is what happens though, man. Like
but
because
well,
we,
the thing
we
is, this is the thing. It's like Manchester United. Whatever people say, I like to think of it this way. And this is what always gives me solace, like when all the rivals are bouncing and stuff like that. Is like what I don't seem to understand is that like they keep Manchester United relevant because Manchester United have not won the Premier League title since 2013.
yeah.
Yet 10 years later, people are still, you still see, so today you see United fans, so Arsenal fans, City fans, Liverpool fans, um, um, Chelsea fans, all the rest of it saying, look at United, you can like, you look at United. Why?
Yeah. I mean
Because
that team was still the biggest team, like all these guys
exactly,
come out, man.
exactly,
You know, because remember the
exactly,
Carabao Cup was like the biggest final, like biggest rated, all that for a Carabao Cup final because we were in it.
exactly. Exactly. Like I think so. The point is that it's just like, in a weird way, at the end of the day, like I'd have been more concerned if like people just didn't care. So if people didn't care, that apathy, it's like suddenly it's like, okay, find your small club. But the reality is that like everyone still hates United. United are still the team that everyone hates. They want to see because people forget Liverpool held 7 to Villa last season. You know,
Oh
but no one, people remember they held 7. Remember, it was okay. They scored 2 goals, sure, but
yeah.
it's
It was
it's
eight.
sort of 7.
Was it eight? Or was it 7?
I think it was 8. Actually, was it 7
It's
or
eight,
8? I can't
wasn't it?
remember. 8.
It's 7, man.
It was 8 actually. So
It
but
was
so,
eight,
so,
yeah.
so, so I'm saying so. But did anyone remember? Did anyone care and forget? No, 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 no. Now obviously it's different if it's your rival and stuff like Anfield. So but the point is that like they care because it's United. And at the end of the day, like as I was saying on the stream, as I was saying here, is just like it's that like you got to my confidence is in the fact that regardless of this result, I still think that Ten Hag is a solid manager.
Yeah, that goes
Okay,
without saying. This is the thing. I'm really hoping. I'm not looked at like
yeah,
Twitter
go.
properly yet, yeah. But no, actually, no, I have like a little bit. There's like I'm around some positive fans that are saying like we just got to move on quick. Like I literally went on Twitter like around the 70th minute, and people were like, we just got to just move on now, even though there was like 20 minutes left. I think was it maybe like 4-0 at that point, and it's like okay, there's some people like you, RDS, that are thinking, okay, obviously Ten Hag, come on, won the Carabao Cup. Yeah. We're actually mentioned in the title race, which is ridiculous, which shows the overperforming. Yeah. We've seen a discipline in defense, honestly, apart from today. Yeah. This is a big anomaly. I know Don Smoke was coming with some fire and he was mentioning the 4-0 Brentford, 6-3 Man City. I would say these obviously are still anomalies, okay? Because we've seen what this team can do. I was mentioning earlier about the Barcelona game. That's a big one, over 2 legs. Yeah, we matched the team that still had, even though they had Pedri come out and Gavi out a little bit, still had the likes of
I
Kessie,
think
Young, and Busquets.
I
They're
think the only
better than Henderson and Elliot and Fabinho.
I think the only
One's
thing
out
I
there.
would say I think the only thing I would say is that it still does concern me a little bit that um when we that we can that at least 3 times this season and I'd hoped it had been over that we can't like there is still the concerning thing is that there still seems to be something in this team. Now I don't know if it's the manager. I don't think it's the manager because it happened under Ollie last season as well. So it must be the players whereby you can't whether it's an unprofessionalism, I don't know because even a League Two side, if they were 1 or 2, would think right, okay, we're 2-0 up, 2-0 down, sorry, or 3-0. Let's just be professional for the rest of the game. Let's put 10 men behind the wall. Let's make it difficult. Let's
Yeah.
drop back. Let's hold it
I mean,
space,
you can
etc.
see that, yeah, when we brought on McTominay, you can see that, okay, Ten Hag wanted to like maybe consolidate the midfield a bit and just like
But we
defend.
didn't. But that's the thing. But we
Yeah,
didn't do that. That's why.
yeah,
That's why I don't understand. So it's like a League Two team even would be like, okay, we're paying Peg 3-0. Let's make it difficult for them, and it's 3-0. Okay, let's not embarrass ourselves. at like 6 or something. I mean, I'm still seeing United players like go up, like at least half of those goals, maybe 4 of those goals were just pure counter-attacking goals.
Yeah, that
Whereby
was the
United were
irony,
up,
man. Is
you
that
know,
we were counter-attacking in the first half, yeah, and then obviously we 1-0 down, so we have to try and come out the second half, and then we just got counter-attacked for almost
yeah,
every goal. It was ridiculous.
yeah,
But before we carry on,
almost,
I just got honor some more people in the comments getting in.
no,
People, we're
almost.
gonna keep talking about why we capitulated. Get in your comments as to why you think at 3-0 we couldn't just hold it down and say, okay, let's just
But
keep
that's,
it respectable. Okay,
but
guys,
that's,
but
but
yo, big
that's
up
what I'm
to now,
saying. It's
Kane.
like,
Real quickly,
go
audience.
on, go on, go
Big
on.
up to now, Kane, for getting in here. I hope you hit the like. Solo saying, yes, I will support the players and the manager. This is a one-off. That's what I'm saying. This is an anomaly, man. We can't forget the achievements we've done. I think we lost 1-12 now, and or if we go to like the second loss against Arsenal, I think that's 2 losses in maybe 15. So we're still all right. Matthew Bassett saying rival fans will put us in a title race to use it to banter us when we don't win. Yeah, this is the thing, because we're overperforming. That's why even a quadruple was mentioned, which is obviously ridiculous after last season. So yeah, we got to talk about what you were trying to get into. RDS is why the capitulation, yeah, because you're saying even a League Two team would probably like just, you know what I mean, keep it sturdy and then just park the bus. But we kept trying to press a little bit. I mean, we brought on Garnacho as well, and then we could see he felt the pressure, didn't he? He
That,
wasn't looking good.
like I said, I think for me the disappointing thing is, I think, and that's what I'm saying is it a mentality thing? Because you have a lot of senior experienced players on that team. This isn't a team that's full of kids. Varane's there, Casemiro's there, Luke Shaw is goodness knows how long. Fred is 20 sort of 9. Rashford has been in the club for ages. So these players, you can make it, you can if, and we weren't even playing kids. Like if Malacia was playing and if Garnacho was playing, he'd be like, okay, yeah, you know what, they're kids, just or I can say I already know that Weghorst isn't that great, and Weghorst is just so let's make some excuses for those players. But the reality is that De Gea is experienced. Dallo, okay, maybe I can make a small excuse to just come back from injury. Maybe doesn't look that great. I'll give him that.
You know what?
But
Real quickly though, RDS, why was Dallo playing the last game as well against West Ham, and then Wan-Bissaka wasn't playing? Like I thought, okay, you don't play Wan-Bissaka against West Ham, you surely start him in this game. It's like
so that's my only thing about the manager, because it was the same thing against Newcastle Cup. It was like he started Dallo. Like I remember, because Wan-Bissaka's form has been good, so he then started Dallo in the final against Newcastle, and in my mind I was like, okay, but he's just got back, and I have a feeling he's going to get cooked against St. Maximan. Sure enough, he was getting cooked by St. Maximan. He got off. AWB came on. So I don't know whether this is Ten Hag trying to reintroduce Dallo back into the team, but this is not the Dallo that was doing bits before the World Cup. Wan-Bissaka has shown that, like, he is, in my opinion, that he is. I'm not saying that we would have still won without Wan-Bissaka, but what I do know is that
it's just one position, man.
But it's only one position. But I do think that at least because in that first half we were being the midfield wasn't garbage in the first half, but we were definitely.
I think we dropped off too much, man. But before we carry on, man.
Oh, go on, yeah.
I obviously don't. Michael's in here. Michael talks football, and he's looking so smug. And I almost don't want to bring him in. I think you have to take off the shades, Michael, man. What are you looking too cool, man? Looking so smug, man.
No, we've got to take this. We've got to take this.
Eddie. Michael, let me just honor some comments, because I know you're gonna cook quite well. Matthew Bassett saying should have gone with flat 3 midfield: Fred, Casemiro, Sabitzer, drop Fernandez. I'm going to drop the captain. So interesting. I think we have to discuss that in a bit. Saying would have gone front 3 of Anthony, Rashford, and Sancho. I think Solo was saying something as well. No, I think that was just the 2. But yeah, man, props to you for the win, Michael. What have you got to say, man?
I just want to say a tweet from one Eddie's Football Waffle. He said
Oh
this at
no.
4:21 p.m. UK time. He said Liverpool FC's midfield looks weak with aging Fabinho and Hendo, and the boy Elliot may get bullied by bossman Casemiro and the mosquito Fred. Manchester United must show no respect, which they shouldn't. And the only thing this thing is, can Weghorst actually do his job and score? I think United draw or win. I can see a 2-2.
Okay. But before you carry on though, like if you look at it on paper and what Casemiro and Fred have been doing, yeah, we
Oh no,
handled
I
the
agree.
likes of Barcelona. That's my reference to keep going back to the Barcelona game. There's other games where we showed energy and strength. Yeah, you've complained about Henderson.
Oh no,
You've complained
Eddie,
about
trust me.
Fabinho. So we should have
Trust
pressed you
me,
guys,
Eddie.
man.
I've complained about him all season. Oh no, you should have. You definitely should have. That's the thing that most teams have done this season, especially Brighton. You know what Brighton did? They just suffocated us. We had 35% ball possession in that game, and we looked absolutely horrific. But today, I think you did show a little bit of respect to us, which you shouldn't have done. You should have.
Way too
I
much
would say
respect.
this, Eddie. I would say this, and to Ardias, shout out to Ardias as well. In the first half, you guys were the better team, in my opinion. You just didn't take your
Really?
chances.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
I think
Yeah,
we
I think you
created
guys
the
were the
better
better.
chances, but I don't
I
think we
don't.
were the better team. I think you
I
guys
don't.
controlled it too much.
I really don't think we played that well in the first half. I thought, yeah, we kept possession, we moved the ball somewhat well, but we just didn't look like we were going to score. We looked very lackadaisical in the final third, and we just didn't have any creativity.
I
Once that
think Diaz though, Diaz had a good chance. I remember the one that Martinez just got his foot to for the corner.
Robertson, you mean Robertson?
So Robertson crossed it. Even. No, no, okay, no. This is a different chance where it was crossed to
Oh,
Diaz,
you're talking
and then
about Nunes when he had the
Martinez.
shot deflected by Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he
yeah,
just
yeah. That was a
created
good. That was a good
something.
chance. So like, look, but I would still say you had the better chances. I mean, Bruno should have scored in my opinion at the back post with the header. He's got to be scoring from
Mm,
that angle. He's
yeah.
free. Nobody's marking him. He's free. Rashford, I think he could have taken his opportunity better. I think he rushed it a little bit and maybe just
Yeah,
didn't get the
that
greatest
was the
connection.
one for me. That was the one
I
for
mean, that
me.
was I
You
I
guys did
honestly
way better
thought
with that.
Luke Shaw was bossing that first half. Luke Shaw was bossing that first half. Then we get to the second half, and I mean, I've not seen a capitulation like that in a long time from a big team. I- I'm I'm sorry to say for you guys, but you guys were absolutely pathetic, really pathetic.
Uh,
As soon as that third goal went in, all your players just stopped playing. And
I,
I don't want to single this guy out from your team, but Bruno Fernandes, if you are the captain, you need to show by example. He got done, I think it was by either Harvey Elliott or Gakpo on that right wing, and he stopped running. He stopped defending. If your
who
captain
was
is
that?
doing that, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, I
saw that.
remember that.
Yeah, so
I
he just
remember
he
Mm,
that. I
he
just
just
gotta
he
say,
lit.
yeah,
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
we're still dealing with people that throw in the towel. Okay, I
Mm,
mean Ten Hag obviously 200 million. I know you were mentioning that on the last stream, Michael, but this is why there's got to be more allowance for Ten Hag. He's had to try and compromise his style to deal with counter attackers as well, and there's
mm.
still these guys that they were throwing in the towel in the 6-3 against Man City and the 4-0 Brentford. There's still some of these guys that are not quite on the wavelength of what Ten Hag wants to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Look,
yeah,
I can come on here and banter you guys and everything. I've done that on my stream. I already had a party, bro. It was a wonderful party. We had the bottles, we had everything planned out. But I just think because this is mostly a United channel that for
yeah.
you guys, this is not an indication of your whole season and what's going to become your whole season. This is just a one-off game. But to lose to your biggest rivals, like if this happened to Liverpool, I would be so like not even just deflated. There has got to be a worse word than deflated. Like this is a humiliation of epic proportions. Like you
We've not
cannot.
let in 7 goals in the Premier League game.
I know.
This
And to your
it's really
biggest
bad.
rivals as well, Eddie and RDS. Like you cannot allow that to happen. Like you can look at Ten Hag and say, "Oh, maybe he should have changed some things." I think this is all on the players today for you guys. This is
yeah.
this is all on
Yeah.
the players. They flat out gave up, and you
Yeah.
cannot do that. Even when Liverpool were absolutely garbage, and we had guys like Konchesky and Kyriakos in defense, we still gave you a good game. We didn't
Yeah.
get
This is
we
what I
didn't
was
get
saying.
crucified 7
Yeah.
nil. The
Yeah.
worst we lost, I think, was 3-0, which was 07-08 from my
Yeah.
lifetime at least. I mean,
Yeah. This.
in the last two seasons,
Good
you've
one.
held 5, 4, and 7. That's embarrassing. And I think some of these players, like seriously, like Bruno Fernandes has got to look at himself and say, "You're the captain. You have to set by example." And today, he just gave up, and that's just disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame because I mean, let's keep it a stack. The people that people tends to blame, people blamed, Maguire, people blame Pogba, people blame CR7, even McTominay. Although McTominay did play today and was at fault for at least one of the goals. But the reality is that the usual people that people tend to blame for that, you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. All those people aren't there. None of those players, none of those features were there.
Some of their players are still there.
No,
So,
they are.
yeah.
But no, they are. But the point is that the usual go-tos, the scapegoats, when these things would happen that people would blame, aren't on that field anymore. So the reality is that it's not as Mike has rightfully said, like it's not necessarily a managerial issue. It's not necessarily an individual player. It's like a mentality issue. And the reality is that like there's no team that has 11 players that all have a strong mentality. There'll be some players that have a weak one and be others that have a strong one. What's concerned me about the club is that like it's that how you have essentially a very experienced team, because they are experienced. It's not like Malacia wasn't playing. Garnacho, okay. I still think Garnacho's a kid, so you can sort of put him to one side. But everyone else, and okay, maybe Ante and Weghorst, it's just their first season, so I can always give that first season tax whatever. Put them to a side. But David De Gea, Luke Shaw, Rafa Varane, Lisandro Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, all of those guys are senior experienced squad players. Yeah. So you've got at least 6 or 7 of those in your squad. And you mean that you can't, like I told you in the stream, even Grimsby Town, a League 2 side, would be like, okay, we're getting Pim slapped 2-0, 3-0. Let's just kind of be tight, keep at the back. Let's just try not humiliate and embarrass ourselves and just make it difficult for them and, and just grind out the game. And they might lose maybe 3 or 4-0 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
United still at 5-0. So I just want to give a finish point. United still at 5 or 6-0. Are still bombing up and trying to attack, and you've got now. I think it was the 6th goal. I think it was the 6th goal, and it was like we're being counterattacked all the time. Yeah. And it's like, how the hell are we having a 4-on-3 at 6-0?
Nah, man. Everyone's head went, man. Everyone's head just went. I really don't get it.
That's why I don't understand. It's like there's 7 experienced senior. How are your heads going? You're not kids. You're not youth. If Garnacho's head went, I get that. He's a kid. But why is Bruno's head's going? Why is Rashford's head's going? Why is Casemiro's head going?
Artists, especially
the captain, man. Like I just because we see a lot of history on it from this guy anyway. Like the way he gets touched and he dives all the time, and it's like he's not even that consistent as well. So I just think like what I mean. Obviously, another captain is needed, and obviously. There's people like Casemiro and Varane that could be up to that.
I was just going to say this, Eddie. You had experienced guys like Ardias talks about. You had Varane, De Gea, Casemiro. Like these guys have been in pressure moments throughout their whole career, and obviously, they haven't been on the hands of a beating like that, except for De Gea. But Casemiro and Varane, like you gotta do something with the situation. You gotta calm it down. You gotta tell the players. You gotta galvanize them and say, okay, we can't concede anymore, guys. We're gonna lose today, but we cannot get embarrassed. This is like there's one thing losing 3-0, 4-0. Like, okay, that's just a bad day. 7-0, that's embarrassing to your biggest rivals. That's just the biggest Will Smith slap you can get.
That's mad. But people in the comments, I'm seeing what you're saying here. I bet Fred had the worst birthday ever. Fred's 30 today. Well, he played like maybe he was celebrating his birthday the other night because he seemed like maybe he was a bit hungover today, man. I didn't see a good enough performance from him today, especially when, like I said, previous games he's been, pocketing players like De Jong. He's been scoring goals as well. So today he wasn't great, man. Matthew Bassett also saying, "Is this Liverpool's cup final?" Yeah, I mean, you still got the Champions League. Well, I don't know if you think this can spur you on. I mean, 7-0 record against your rivals. I don't know. Maybe you could work a miracle.
I still don't think we're going to get past Real Madrid in the Champions League, but we have to get top 4 now. you don't beat your biggest rival 7-0 and finish 5th or 6th. We have to get top 4. There's like this is no matter if we even if we get top 4, this is a disastrous season. So we have to get it.
Prima, thanks for getting in here. There's looking at what we've conceded now, isn't it? 35 goals now we've conceded. That would have taken Fergie 2 seasons to melt that many. What a pegging. Yeah, we got pegged today. But I've just got to come back to what I was saying earlier in the stream. Ten Hag, come on, we all know he's been there 6 months, yeah? Okay, he's had the preseason. And okay, we're beating Liverpool 4-0 Bangkok Cup. Then we beat Liverpool again 2-1 in the league. This shouldn't be happening here. It's just weird. Like, if we just would have lost like maybe 2-1 or something like that, we could probably take it well. But seven goals is mad. So I can see why people are reacting, you know.
The problem, Eddie, is that I don't know another team in the Premier League that's had that margin of results. At least 3. So 4-0 against Brentford, 7-0 against Liverpool, and 6-3 against City. I don't know any other teams in the league, even Southampton. I don't, you know, and Southampton often usually get an annual 8-0. You know, they get annual 8-0 from somebody.
Ardius,
and even they have. Go on.
I would say that we probably rival you with that because we've lost 3-0, 3-0, 3-1. We've taken beatings as well.
Yeah, the Vujtanet is talking about your beatings there, Michael. He calls you skip rats. Very.
Yeah, but I mean, but three is fine. But 7, 6. You know, so like the 7-0. There is no excuse for. I mean, people even literally people were banting Gary Neville because obviously he lost 7-0 to Barcelona's Valencia coach, and so people like, you know, did you and Ten Hag share ideas before the game or something like that? Because it's, I don't know. I think that, like I said, the biggest thing the scariest thing for me is just that there was a lot of experience in that team, and it all just disappeared.
I mean, I'm just trying to ask questions as well, man. Like, I know there was 6 changes made to the team for West Ham, so we rested a lot of our big boys. But still, when they came into that game, I didn't even see enough energy. I think Varane shouldn't have played that game. Because like, I remember when he had I think it was an injury scare, like last night, like some updates came saying he may not be playing. I don't think he should have played then. Like, if he was going to put in that kind of performance, because that wasn't Varane today, RDS. That was not him.
But my point still stands, Eddie, is that again, if this was Grimsby Town or any other League One side, there's football ability, and there's football fitness, and there's football intelligence. And the biggest reason why United lost today was that they lacked. It was like a year 1 student versus a year 11 student. The football intelligence from United today was non-existent. So yes, okay, you're tired. Yes, okay, you are you're not as good ability-wise. Okay, that can be true. But you can at least be intelligent to be like, okay, I know we're tired. I know we're not as good as these guys. So, you know, we're going to at least make it difficult, harder for them to win the game. It doesn't. We can even just put 10 men behind the ball for the next 30-something minutes, and we'll see what we can do, and at least keep the score respectable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Ten Hag like just had some pride, which like you know, like pride can blind you and can like just make you do like bad things. So it must have been the task set to the players to try and come back. I know we've come back in previous games. There's a lot of games where we've like just gonna go down.
I think Eddie, because in the second half, I think what Ten Hag was thinking, maybe okay, we know Liverpool are going to come like a house on fire in the first 10 minutes. Let's calm it down. Let's keep it 1-0, and then we can go on the attacking. But because Liverpool got 2 early goals in the second half, those tactics just went out of the water. And I think your players didn't adapt. And I think Ten Hag was like, "What else can I do? There's nothing. I can't galvanize this. The players got to now step up in this situation." And they just faltered big time for him. And I think Ten Hag must feel so embarrassed.
Players like Shaw have got to take some big blame, because there's like at least 2 mistakes.
He had such a great first half, Shaw. Like, I thought he was
Yeah.
I thought he was the best player on the pitch in the first half. And to see how he then performed in the second half, I was like, wow, what has
No,
happened to him?
I'm almost the performance that Shaw put in the second half, like especially there was one goal where literally where I was like I could even drop this guy for 3 games. I think it was the six. I don't know it was the goal that Salah scored from, where like he attempted the clearance and it ricocheted off
Oh yeah.
and it went in. I was like, but the nature of that clearance was it wasn't a this is what I'm saying about football intelligence. It wasn't
Yeah.
it was a frustrated clearance. It was like a just boot it away. Not let me have a look. Let me just make sure no one's around. Let me just clear it just safely. No, it was I'm frustrated kick, deflection in.
Yeah, but Shaw's mind went. I mean, and
That
he's
yeah,
part of these guys from
that
last
alone, I was
season
like,
that part of
bro.
the bottling mentality. He's still part of that. I know he's been good this season, but he has those times where he can just lose his
For that
mind as well.
experience alone, I'm like, I want him dropped, and I want Malacia to come in a left back. But just for that alone, because it's like I know that Malacia got cooked against City, although he did fairly decent against Salah at Anfield. But like, at least with Malacia, when he played in those 2 big games, I could see that he's at least trying.
Yeah.
Even though he's been cooked at 6, like for you to be the senior player and you act in that way, where you do a half-ass clearance, your mind's going to shoot, don't care. It's like, nah, we can't have players in this team that when they're getting pelted, instead of instead of actually galvanizing the team, I mean, even at the end of the game, I think it was Varane who had to urge the players to go and clap the away fans.
Was it? Well, that should be the captain doing that. That should be Bruno.
It should have been. So we have.
I would
Yeah.
prefer Varane as the captain. Obviously, not of today's performance, but like before today, he's been one of the most consistent. I mean, people would say maybe Martinez has been better, but I think Varane's the guy. People still getting comments in. Reece Carter, I suspect you're a Liverpool fan. You like Cody Gakpo. I mean, before the first goal, I didn't even see him do much. Like I saw like Nunez trying to play. And Nunez is probably one of the worst players on the ball. Like I remember when he was passed the ball in the left wing. I don't know what minute it was, but I think the ball went under his foot, not a play. And I saw some of his passing. I'm not surprised that Nunez had, I think it was a 49% success rate in terms of passing before the season, because his link-up play is dead. And we allowed you guys to grow confidence. We didn't. We had 2 of the best chances in the first half, but then we had like, what is it, 30% possession again? We didn't give a chance for our wingers to really feel their way into the game. Anthony was frustrated on that right. And by the way, this guy just cuts in and shoots. Ten Hag's got to give him the hairdryer, yeah, and bring out whatever he had from Ajax, because cutting in and shooting, that's bullshit, man. That's not going to do enough. Especially for that possession.
The thing is, Eddie, for Anthony, because he's so used to Ajax where he had always his right back, Mazraoui, make an overlapping run. So then that would obviously drag another defender out there. So then it was allowed Anthony. All he did at Ajax was just cut on his left foot. So he needs to develop his game a bit more. And, it's going to take time for him to develop. There's a player there, but, just today, it didn't work out.
There is 100 million spent on him, yeah. There's got to be a player there. And in terms of fullbacks overlapping, I did see Dallo. He was getting up there, yep. And then Anthony seemed like he was just like panicking to try and get the ball to him like straight away rather than working some 1-2s. I didn't see composure. Just looking at some more of these comments, Dutch Christ and Fred and Maguire are both 30 today. He's declining physical prowess, so you're most worried about. Well, obviously it's Fred because come on, RDF, we want Fred to be staying. I mean, Maguire is on his way out, man. Like Fred could probably.
To be honest, if depending on whether the Qataris are going in, I think United need to get, to get at least probably 4 or 5 players in the summer. We need another right back. We need at least 2 midfielders. We need an actual number 9, and I'd argue you probably need another a forward player. Yeah. Those are a winger. Those are the things we need because, if we want to keep a stack really. In terms of squad, when you actually look at it, who really came off the? Okay, it was 1-0. Who really came off the bench to really kind of make an impact
So this
to
is what
try
I
and
was going
change
to
the
say as
game?
well, RDS. Just real quickly, yeah.
Mm.
We're having to rely on a kid from the academy as well. This has got to be in consideration for like the lack of tools that Ten Hag has. Like we literally had to put McTominay on to try and compose the midfield. if Ten Hag had his proper squad, we would have better people coming on.
Well, I mean, I would have put Sabitzer. I don't know why he didn't. I didn't know why he didn't put Sabitzer on earlier on. Personally, I would have at least put on. I'd have at least brought on another midfielder. You can take Fred off for Sabitzer if you want. Like he took, like for me, like when he put McTominay on for Fred, it was like I don't know how that stabilized our midfield. Because as bad
made
as
some good tackles, but yeah, it didn't stabilize.
No, it didn't stabilize the midfielder just because McTominay is slower. So at least for Fred is still quick. He'll still be able to run back. McTominay's not going to run back. So now you have a tired Bruno who's been playing every single game. You've got McTominay who's slow, and then you've got Casemiro who's maybe tired or whatever. So we're gonna get overran. So you bring in another midfielder. You play 4. This is what I'm saying about intelligence. Okay, so you're 3 or 4 down. Okay, forget about chasing the game. Take off your forward player, Anthony, whatever, something like that. You bring another midfielder who shut up shop, defend deep, and then maybe have the other counter attack. Make it difficult for Liverpool. So at least the score is maybe 3-0, 4-0 out of top. But you're bringing on Garnacho, you're bringing on McTominay to do what? You're not holding the midfield with McTominay coming on for another midfielder. And Garnacho maybe an outlet for Garnacho, so the workhorse, but you lost your hold up play guy because Rashford basically ended up getting pocketed by Konate because we know that Rashford, and I've said this several times, when Rashford goes up against physical centre backs, he's useless. He can only run in behind. Yeah, he could run in behind, but in terms of actually going up against, he's not like I say it's in a good way, but say someone like Lukaku, for example. Lukaku will go up against physical defenders. Cavani to a certain extent go up against physical defenders. Rashford can't do that. So effectively, Rashford became useless in that game because Konate was just like, yeah, I can go run at me. It's fine. I've got you. It's fine.
Konate is really good with that recovery pace. But Matthew Bassett's getting in this comment. I think we have discussed a bit of this. Do you think there was an air of overconfidence? We expected to go there and win without Liverpool putting up a fight. I mean, I don't think we went there with overconfidence because, like I was saying, and Michael said it a bit as well. Like we respected Liverpool in that game in terms of dropping back and we allowed you guys to play and gain confidence. I could see with every 1-2. Like you were getting 1-2s wrong early on. I remember the game was a bit scrappy, and then you started just building, getting most. I mean, Mo Salah's first half was different from his second half. Like Mo Salah wasn't really doing much.
Eddie.
Second half, man. I mean,
Salah adopted Lisandro. He adopted him, bro. He made him do an NBA ankle breaker, bro. That was nasty. That was absolutely.
He destroyed Lisandro, man.
And remember, this is supposed to be because look, I've seen Salah play. He hasn't been good at all this season. But today, that was Mo Salah. That was the Egyptian king. He loves playing United. Oh, he loves playing you guys. But I gotta head out, guys. I know it's a tough day for you. I'm not trying to come to banter, but man, 7-0. Whew, what a day.
Wait, before you go, there was a comment that you just need to see this. These games happen sometimes. Klopp got relegated with Mainz. Yeah. So
I mean, okay, they happen sometimes, but they don't happen to your biggest rivals.
Touche. Yeah. I wish I had more fight, man. But
have we ever seen Arsenal beat Tottenham 7-0? Have we ever seen Real Madrid defeat Barcelona 7-0?
Yeah. All I know is that we have beaten you this season. Yeah, so we still got.
And hey, Eddie, you beat us in a cup final.
Bangkok, like I was saying on the preview, bro.
Big up, Eddie. Big up, RDS.
Take care, Mike. Thanks, man. Mike. Thanks, man.
But yeah, big up to Sports Capital getting here. Just proves we need a number 9, a midfielder, and a centre back. I mean, RDS, we're saying like 4 or 5 players. We need more than just those 3 Sports Capital, but that would be a good start to get those players in. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon. Let us finish with this topic then, and people getting your comments regarding this as well. Does this wreck United's season? Yeah, let me just lay it down a bit before RDS comes in. So, I mean, the players, obviously, they know they've done well this season, right? You can't just erase a Carabao Cup. You can't just erase that we've been winning a lot of games, and we've been doing it against the odds of 1 game every 3 days. And I think we've only lost 2 in like 15. Obviously, still in the Europa League. People mentioned that we're in a title race for some reason. That's how much we were overperforming. But the big thing is we lost to our biggest rivals. And we've seen all the previews. They were saying this is the biggest game. The players are going to be conscious that we lost in front of the whole world. Like, the ratings in this game must be through the roof. Yeah? And the players bottled it. And not only did they bottle it, they made the record of letting in 7 goals that we've never done in the Premier League era. RDS, do we recover mentally?
Well, we'll see. I think that's the question. Like, if at the end of the day, this United side, they actually learn from this badly, they repent from it, and then they go from now to the end of this season unbeaten, and we win the Europa League, we win the FA Cup, we do those things. Then, yeah, I think that you'll say, okay, fair enough. They held the balls and they're able to come back, and they did the right thing, But alternatively, and like I said, it's one of the reasons why I'm concerned, because of the amount of senior players that are there, is that it could be a destabilizer. Now, thankfully, the international break is coming up soon, so I think the 2 games I think United have. I don't know. Do we play Betis next week?
Yeah, we got Betis quick, haven't we? It's like not much time to recover at all. We got Betis on the 9th, so we got literally 6. So we got like 3 days rest.
Yeah, so 3 days Betis, and then the weekend we have Southampton at home. So
and then it's international break after that.
Then it's international break, yeah. So the hope is that is Betis home or away? Actually, I think it's away, isn't it?
On these fixtures that I'm looking at, that we got Betis on the 16th.
It's a 2-legged, isn't it?
Yeah. So you say Southampton on the 12th, yeah, but then it's saying Betis on the 16th. So how long is this? How long is this international break though?
No. Betis is the. Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. So the international break is after next week. Yeah. So we have. So what happened? Because what happened was that I think the Brighton against United game was postponed.
Yeah. So it's after the FA Cup on the 19th. Yeah, because I've looked.
Yeah.
United versus Fulham on the 19th, and then the next game is the 2nd.
So that's international break. Away to Newcastle.
Yeah. Next game after that is the 2nd of April. Yeah, Newcastle.
For the next Premier League game, we basically have a Premier League game against Southampton at home, which we really need to win, and we should win. The Europa League, back-to-back Europa League games against Betis, and then obviously the Fulham game in the quarterfinals. So FA, Europa, etc., and then international break, and then Newcastle away. And then, to be honest, when we come back from the international break, man.
We need that break now. I would say I wish we could just take a rest, man, and reassess. Before we carry on, let me just go through some comments as well. Matthew,
go on, man.
I think this is a positive one. We'd see a response from the team on Thursday. Maybe it is the best thing just to stay in the barrel and actually just reply straight away rather than have the rest time. AD saying don't think so. So okay, as a Barcelona fan, you can see us still recovering. That's good. The Vucinator is always positive, man. So obviously he's thinking we're not gonna, mess up the rest of the season. John Boyd, Cat, thanks for getting in here, man. I hope you hit the like. No, I don't think so. Come the end of the season, see who's smiling. I mean, I was smiling before this game. I'm sure we all were. That we had Carabao Cup, top 4, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, originally, I'm always confident in Eric Ten Hag will sort it out. Matthew saying the squad needs to show some character and bounce back against Betis, man. We got to recharge for that game. But this is the thing, man. Like we played our first team at Anfield. We got like what 3 days rest. If we're going to reply, we need to play another strong team. That's the thing. Yeah, this is a good question. So, what changes do you think we'll see then, RDS, to the team?
I mean, I don't know. You because most of the starting 11 is there. Because I mean, I guess this. I remember when the January transfer window happened, and I was like, okay, because this has happened so many seasons before, where United get this momentum usually around this time. It actually happened under Oli in his second season. It happened in Mourinho in the second season. It's happened so many times where we get this momentum around this time, where we're in the cups, we're in this position in the league, and I always say, okay, this is good, but we really need to increase our squad depth in the January transfer window. Because if we don't do that, we're going to struggle. Because when it gets to the business end of the season, which is the most important part of the season, we're going to struggle.
Yeah.
You look at Arsenal right now. Arsenal are competing for a league. We at one point in Ollie's second season, we were top of the league, and I was like, whatever you say about Ollie, you're like, back the guy at least, bring in a good centre back, bring in some depth, and you never know. We didn't do that. Arsenal, they brought in, how many people they brought in? They brought in Jorginho, an experience. Whatever you say about him, he's still an experienced central midfielder. They brought in Trossard.
Trossard as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. A forward, and I think one other player, if I recall. So they made 3 key signings to add depth to the ready squad, on top of bring your Reece Nelson and catches, etc., youth and so on. United bring in a Burnley player on loan to Besiktas.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was failing at Burnley, wasn't he?
Yeah,
and he wasn't that good as well.
And Sabitzer, who I'm not saying Sabitzer is bad, but Sabitzer's on the bench against Bayern for a reason. So, those are the 2 reinforcements. Trossard was tearing up at Brighton. Jorginho, whatever you say about Jorginho, the whole point I'm trying to make here is that, like, I remember at the time saying, listen, we need to choose what we're going to go for. Because I don't think that United can successfully compete with the lack of depth or squad we have. We cannot compete in all 4 of these competitions without something suffering. So I said, you know what? Throw the Europa League, throw the cups, just get the cup, and maybe try in the season.
I was getting shut down by the likes of the Vucinator in the comments, man, for saying, I'm being pessimistic. Because I was saying, yeah, just play the youth in the FA Cup. So we can just just focus on some of these cups with this, the lack of depth we've got in the squad. There's this old proverb, I'm sure we're all familiar with it, where I think one of the philosophers said, if you try and catch 2 rabbits at the same time, you end up catching nothing. Yeah, this is the thing. If you apply it to our situation, there's times where there could be a burnout because you're literally trying to play your strongest team every time.
And and most
thinking, just real quick, people were thinking Ten Hag was wrong to make all them changes against West Ham. We could have gone out in that game. You got to make the changes. You can't just play your strongest team for every competition, or you'll end up winning nothing. You know what I mean? You got to rotate.
And you're right, but this is what I'm saying about why. But the thing is, this is not new. We've been in this situation before. Every single time it comes to January, when there's a positivity, we get gassed, and people forget that, like, it's still a 38-game season with tons of games on top of that. So without the squad depth, so yes, okay, the team is playing well, January, but the business end of the season from March onwards, March, April, these next 2 months, March and April, are the most important months in any season, because that's when all the teams drop off. It's the most important part of the season that's what Arsenal. Arsenal, what, right? Do you think Arsenal are going to play their strongest 11 in the Europa League? Probably not.
I've already seen them make changes, like even during that group stage, and they're
Yeah.
still winning.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they'll put a crap team out, but there's no way that they're going to put out their near strongest 11 in Europa League, because Arteta's like, listen, we need to maintain the squad. We've got the depth. We need to focus on winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
Ten Hag will put a near because of lack of depth and to a certain extent a bit of his arrogance, but still he will put out a near strong team against Betis.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to go through some of my changes now then, because we're going to wrap up the show quick.
Yeah.
Everyone in the comments, get in what changes you think Ten Hag will make for this Betis game. Because I know it's lack of depth. We have got some options that we can go to. Obviously, I want to see Weghorst dropped. I just really don't want to see this guy just laboring when he's running. Looks like Maguire when he's running. I mean, there was some link-ups he was trying to do. He was trying to play in balls to Rashford in behind. His passing is not good enough. So I want to see Sabitzer come in. Maybe we try Sabitzer at number 10. Okay, I know it's a little bit challenging to keep tinkering, but we've already seen Ten Hag do well with putting Shaw at centre back, with sometimes playing Bruno on the right. I know Weghorst has kind of worked in the number 10, but not as well. We need someone that's got way more experience in doing that. So maybe Sabitzer comes in there. Fred, yeah, I think maybe he needs to be rotated out of the team now. I mean, that was a big game to be flopping in. So if Sabitzer isn't playing number 10, maybe Sabitzer plays instead of Fred. Maybe Sabitzer plays alongside Casemiro.
Maybe that might. To be honest, I don't even know, because even in this game, I'm thinking I don't actually know whether the result would have been different whoever coming in, because I think it was a collective mentality thing. Because we didn't even play better when Fred came off the pitch.
Yeah, but what did we expect when he?
Yeah. Yeah. So Sabitzer, Casemiro, maybe. I mean, from what I've seen with Sabitzer so far, like he's okay, but like he's not like I think someone said it once. It was just kind of like Manchester United are lacking a ball progressive, essentially a fit Pogba.
Yeah,
like they're lacking.
The thing is, we've not seen Sabitzer in enough of an attacking position. He's actually played instead of Casemiro in terms of doing that water carrying role. And I don't think he excels at that. Like if he's playing next to Casemiro, he'd be able to get forward a bit more, show more of his technique. Surely.
That's what I hope. So, but I still think that I mean, if we're talking about what United need to get a central midfielder, whether that's a De Jong swing in the summer, but I also think that United need to get a ball progressive midfielder as well. Essentially, we need a Pogba replacement. Because someone who could carry the ball, progress the ball, be physical with it. Whatever my criticism of Pogba aside, when he was good, he was really good. Because he had the attributes as to what I want in a midfielder. Technical ability, ball progression, vision, and physicality, etc. United don't have a midfielder like that right now. And to be honest, our midfield is quite lopsided because, okay, Casemiro is great, he's got the defensive element. Fred and McTominay, are kind of like, are they cinch holding? Are they, and then
we have way too many players that can't carry the ball, that can't put some composure on the game. There's players I just got to say this real quick before we come back in. There's players like Thiago, when he was in his prime. Liverpool's Thiago. When he was in his prime, you couldn't get the ball off this guy. You could actually dribble a bit. His passing, beautiful, better than Bruno. It's got to be honest. The likes of when I saw Kovacic playing at Chelsea when he was on form, guy could carry the ball from defense, supply it to people on the wing, get attacks going. We don't have enough players that can carry the ball. Fred not really good at doing that. McTominay can't really do it. Casemiro's done it a bit, but he's had to do too many roles in that midfield in terms of. Going forward from defense, trying to protect the defense. And then our wingers as well. We don't see enough dribbling. The biggest performance from some of our wingers has been tracking back, especially in the likes of that Barcelona game. We still need a lot of players to be playing on the front foot football. Oh man, it's frustrating.
I mean, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, like it's frustrating. It's annoying because it's like 7-0, man. Like it's just like it's just ruined my weekend, potentially my week. You
Nah,
know, if they
I
were,
need a stiff drink after this, man.
you
But
know,
Matthew Bassett, I think I was answering a little bit of what you're asking there. What does Eric do with the squad in the summer? I think RDS, you said like another winger, didn't you? He said another winger.
yeah, we need to bring in at least five players. We need to bring
Yeah,
in the most important one is we need an actual number 9. That's the most important signing. We need a number 9. We probably need to get a right back because we need to decide what the hell we're doing this whole Wan-Bissaka Dallo thing. Because if you think that if you don't like Wan-Bissaka is not great going forward, then you can't compensate with Dallo, who is okay going forward. I don't think Dallo is well. I think Dallo's okay going forward. I don't think he's. People made it sound like Dallo's great. Wan-Bissaka, at least for me, as a defensive fullback, is one of the best in the world still, in terms of one-on-one tackling, etc.
definitely one of the
Dallo,
best tacklers I've seen, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Dallo, and there were a few games as well where he literally saved us because of that. Where he saved us points because of that ability. Dallo is not one of the best right backs in the world going forward. He's just better at it than Wan-Bissaka. So if you're going to go into summer getting a right back, you better go and get someone who, like say like who over has an overall ability in terms of defensive and attacking wise, rather than just letting say Wan-Bissaka go and then just calling it a day. That's the first thing.
yeah.
Um, we need to get 2 midfielders because Sabitza's probably going to go. We still haven't replaced. We let what was it? We let Pogba go. We let Mata go. We let Matic go.
Yeah.
People need to realize Casemiro is a replacement for Matic.
Mm.
That's important. Casemiro is a replacement for Matic. We've not replaced Pogba. We've not replaced Amata, for example. Like all Casemiro was is a
We're not even
replacement.
replaced Lingard properly, have we?
Yeah,
Another attacking
so
midfielder.
we didn't actually replace a lot of our players. Cavani, Ronaldo, we lost.
Yeah.
We're in a situation where we had like so many number 9s. Cavani can play there, Ronaldo can play there, even Greenwood, enough said, to nobody aside from a Burnley striker. So the
Yeah.
most important thing is that
Too many players will not replace, man. This is why we gotta get them new owners because the Glazers,
yeah.
you know what they're watching. They're just watching the stocks. That's it. You know what I mean? As long as they see a supposed big player come in, they're happy. Whether they know that he fits into the system or not. So we've definitely got to see new ownership quick, man. If it's
We
supposed
need
to like keep Ten Hag on this upwards trajectory. But before you carry on, Ardi, I just got to honor some more of the
No, go
comments.
on,
Sorry
go
that
on.
I've not looked at enough of your comments, guys. But when we're just going through the emotions, it's hard to keep up. Vuj Teneta saying all down to the leeches. We didn't buy anyone in Jan. Yeah, that's what we've been discussing, man. This is frustrating to have the likes of Veghorst, and it's been sloppy. Primo looking at the good side when at least we're not cheaters like City. You see, that's what we have to do, man. Just look at some of the positives.
Yeah, but
Matthew saying, when is Martial back? Do you actually know? Oh, yes.
I don't know when this guy. To be honest, I want to start. I'll just brief a point about that. The first thing we need to do is sell because we sell players that we just can't rely on. I think that Ten Hag and the Qatar ownership need to be ruthless in the summer. I love Martial. I think he's a talented player, but we went into the season with him, with Ronaldo, and you're thinking, right, okay, we've got at least some support. We're now relying on Garnacho to come on and be an impact. So Martial's injury issues are bad. I think that you let him go in the summer. You sell him or whatever it is, he goes. Donny van der Beek, same thing. Sorry, you had your chance. So at the very least, those 2 players need to move on, and the money from those can go into bringing in another number 9 and another midfielder.
Yeah, for real, man.
So that we can rely on those. Sorry, anyway, go on.
Yeah, for real, man. Dutch Cry saying on the positive, given we will get top 4, losing this game badly will help facilitate positive change outcomes. Better / quicker than winning it would have in the grand scheme of things for next season. I can actually get a sense of what you're saying there. It's just that the manner of the loss in it today is just that's the main issue. It's like obviously we're not going to just be pulling up trees this season. It's like it's been 6 months of rehabilitation compared to what is it? Last 6 years of just being garbage and not winning anything like in terms of trophies. So gotta have a lot of patience. Let me just go through a few more comments because we're gonna wrap up soon anyway. This is a big question. This probably might be one where we can go through it on another stream. Who should be the DOF at Man United, man? I mean, I don't know who's out there. I know who I did want, obviously Uncle Ralph Ragnick, but we saw what the Glazers did with him. Didn't even give him a chance to do what was mainly his, like, his proper job. Obviously, managing was secondary. This guy took the Red Bull franchise from 100 million to 1 billion, and the Glazers didn't even, put two and two together and see that this guy could help Man United do the same thing with their portfolio in terms of like getting in cheap players, getting the manager to train them up and then have them be worth way more. I remember when Ralph Ragnick was recommending, I think it was Julian Alvarez and I think it was Enzo Fernandez, and I think the price before the World Cup was like 30 million for those players.
Yeah.
Enzo's gone for like 100 million now. It's like this is what Ralph Ragnick would have been doing. Getting
we wanted Nunes, we wanted Gakpo as well. So a lot of the players that this is what I'm saying. Like when you look at the map, even in fairness, Ollie back in the day, Ollie was like, before they even went, it's like I really wanted to get Jude Bellingham and Haaland before they went to Dortmund respectively. So clearly, if this was back in the day, Fergie, they would have come. But the reality is, unfortunately, is that the way that the Glazers run this club and the lack of and the mentality, and that's kind of what Zlatan was saying in his book. He was like, on the outside, it looks like United's a big club. On the inside, they have a small mentality. It's just business. It's just money. That's it. There's no hunger and ambition for trophies or silverware to push for it because, as far as the Glazers are concerned, it's just a dividends and nothing more.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. I'll just try and look through more of these comments. Matthew's saying Luis Campos. I'm actually not sure what his. You have to let me know what his kind of CV is. Have you heard of Luis Campos? Oh, yes.
I have heard of him, but I'm not the best, to be honest, at him. So, but yeah, I see the point.
Yeah, just get it in the comment if you can before we go, Matthew. Like what kind of accomplishments he's done. Like I don't know what kind of signings he's made or that kind of thing. What kind of club he was at. Dutch Christ and Ragnick DOF. I wish it should never have. We literally had the guy at our club. Should never be a wish when we actually employed the guy. Like should never have let him go. It was, it's just the fact that the Glazers did not like Ragnick, letting the media know what was really wrong. He didn't like the whole cutthroat thing of, we need, what was he saying, 8 players? I forgot how many players you're saying. Like, you're just saying we needed to gut the team. Maybe some of that could have been kept behind closed doors and you just tell the Glazers that, instead of telling the media. But literally, he still could have, like, Ragnick still could have fixed the situation even after that. Like, maybe the Glazers would have told him, okay, don't say as much in press conferences, but we respect what you're saying, and then we're gonna, progress with you, giving us the consultancy. It's like the Glazers seem to have reacted emotionally when Ragnick was talking about all of that stuff that we needed. It's like you gotta be professional, man. Matthew also saying rumors are that we're going back in for Frankie de Jong. I mean, if we still got the likes of John Murto. Expect us to be going for a long saga again.
Exactly. I'm like,
we need the new DOF that can actually be more effective.
If we go in for him, Frankie de Jong, and it takes the same amount of time that is, then I'm not interested. Like, so like we spent ages, anyway, I don't really have much else to say on this thing, Eddie, just other than that that I genuinely hope that this is like a blip. But there is a big part of me that is worried about the fact that there were so many senior players on the field there, and that to still have this bottle mentality and a complete and total lack of football intelligence. Either that is because that's come from the manager, and the manager said you keep on going forward and keep on trying to score no matter what, which I find very strange. Or two, the players basically just were completely unprofessional and were like, we just don't care. And I more go towards the second, because when I look at the manner in which some of the goals were conceded, it was almost comical. It was like Sunday, like I maybe even League Two was actually being too respectful. Probably Sunday League. You know, I literally think in the second half you could have put on like we could have gone on the field, and we could have been like we could have went on all 11ers, and we could have been like, okay, we're not as good as these guys, but we'll at least try and like make it difficult. Just put 11 men in front of the whole goal and just try and make it difficult, you know?
Yeah.
And we probably wouldn't have conceded as much. Maybe 5 or 6, but not 7. Not 7.
Man. That was awful, man. But yo, thanks for coming on. I'm just gonna do a bit of an outro after you leave. But
peace.
Plug your channel before you go.
Oh, right. Yeah. So Red Devil Studio, RDS, Manchester United, well, and amongst others. But yeah, I'm also on Twitter, We Are United X. But yeah, Red Devil Studio is my channel. I'm probably not going to do a watch long again, because that's why I don't do watch longs. Because I can't sit through that for how many hours and recover from it. So
that was your first one in ages, wasn't it? And then wow, you picked a real stinker
to come back to. But yeah, thanks for having on, Eddie. Make sure you like the video, guys. Peace out. I'll speak to you guys later.
All right, take care, bro. Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap up soon. Matthew saying Luis Campos is at PSG. Okay, so he's responsible for getting certain players in there. Like, how long has he been there? Because like they have made some good signings. Obviously, I mean, Neymar was a great signing. Messi did make sense. Obviously, Mbappe is amazing. I mean, I think PSG has like the best front three I've seen. It's just a pity that they kind of freestyle a bit and not really connected to the midfield. I mean, Verratti, great signing as well. Vitinha. So I would obviously, come on, guys. We'd love to see players like Vitinha and Verratti. Imagine them guys helping out Casemiro in midfield. People that can actually carry the ball. I've seen Vitinha can carry the ball. Very, very nice. Very good technique. Verratti, defensive player, but can also play as a number 8, can overlap, can do dribbling. So this is why the Glazers have got to go quick, because we know they're just keeping these little, the bum boys, the bankers. You know what I mean? We need proper football guys, man. And that's like, we're like broken records in terms of what we say as fans. Like, we know what is needed. So the takeover can't come soon enough, guys. But yeah, I think we answered the question of whether this loss wrecks the season. Doesn't? Yeah, it won't do. Surely, the manager is going to use his hairdryer. We know Sir Alex used to use it with the players. Ten Hag's got to get out his hairdryer. Okay, and yeah, Matthew saying Luis Campos and Ruiz. Yeah, it's Renato Sanchez. I've not seen enough of him, but he's a good player. Soler, Makueli is good, and Skriniar. Okay. See, I want to see signings like that. Yo, good night to John Boycott. Yeah, man, thanks for getting in here. Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap up now, guys. Thanks for staying in here and actually keeping me company, and bearing with the waffle. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to doing the kind of pre-recorded stuff behind the scenes where I can just cut down certain bits of waffle. But you know what I mean? Before I just try and give the live a chance. But got to end on a good note, guys. We have to remember that we've done stuff like this. We won the Carabao Cup. And we got to remember, we also beat Liverpool, man. Fuck Liverpool. We've taken we took their Carabao Cup. And remember, we took the Bangkok Cup. We got to remember, guys, we got to keep on to the positives. But anyway, it's the end of my waffle. Big up to everyone that was getting in here. Dutch Christ, Matthew Bassett, thank you, man. Top Waffle, thank you. The support has been much appreciated, man. I mean, obviously, still new to the game. I'm still new to the game at doing these lives. So thanks for getting here. Everyone else, just try and go through everyone. Primark, the Vucinator, AD, John Boycat, Sports Capital. Yeah, man. Just keep your notifications on. I think I'm gonna have some stuff like animation coming through. Because you know what I mean, doing the lives, going through the emotions, you have to be very sturdy with your emotional intelligence to keep doing this kind of thing. So I might do some more lives, but expect some animation to be coming through. But anyway, that's been my waffle. Guys, we've got to recover. Next game, Real Betis. They've got to go down. Anyway, good night, guys. Peace.